say the boy.
The Daniel Martell, the stepfather.
He's on meth.
He's on meth.
He sells meth. And he makes it. And he don't like the kids. He beats the kids. He beats her daughter.
That's what I'm
But her
saying.
daughter might know more than she's saying. I said your daughter's lying. You must know what happens. Only 3 people in the state.
Exactly.
We had to do polygraphs and everything.
You did a polygraph too?
Yeah, because we used to drop the kids off.
Okay.
Over there.
So you and Cindy and...
I heard it. He beat them. Everyone around here knew. We heard the screams every night. That's not a rumor. That's a confession from a neighbor who lived steps away from the trailer where Lilly and Jack Sullivan disappeared. 2 children, gone without a sound. And this is where their story begins. On the surface, it looked like a tragic accident. 2 siblings, just 6 and 4, who supposedly wandered off into the woods in the dead of night while their parents slept. That was the original story, the official version, the one local news ran with for weeks. But the people who knew, them neighbors, teachers, case workers, they saw the cracks early on. First, the timeline. Cindy claimed she tucked the kids into bed around 9:15 p.m. and that she and Daniel watched a movie and fell asleep shortly after. But Daniel told officers he was watching a hockey game alone until nearly midnight. When asked what movie they watched, Cindy couldn't remember. When asked what game Daniel was watching, he named a matchup that didn't happen that night. It wasn't just forgetfulness. It was disconnection. It was contradiction. And then there's the motion-activated camera from a house behind the woods. It picked up movement around 2:03 a.m. A figure, low to the ground, holding what appeared to be a bundle. Grainy, unclear, but there was no doubt. Someone was out there, and it wasn't an animal. That footage was quietly dismissed by police as unidentifiable. But locals saw what they saw, and they haven't stopped talking about it. Next, the bruises. These weren't just scraped knees or playground falls. These were handprints, belt lines, old bruises over new ones. The preschool flagged them twice. Once in early March when Jack cried uncontrollably after being asked to remove his sweater, despite the classroom being warm. And once in May, when Lilly flinched every time someone raised their voice. A teacher filled out a CPS referral. It was confirmed later that a file had been opened on Daniel Martell. That file is sealed now, but insiders say it contained interviews with neighbors, photos of injuries, and a recommendation for follow-up within 30 days. No one followed up. There's more. An audio recording, buried in the middle of the investigation.
I still say the boy.
The Daniel Martell, the stepfather.
He's on meth.
He's on meth.
He sells meth. And he makes it. And he don't like the kids. He beats the kids. He beats her daughter.
That's what I'm saying.
But her daughter might know more than she's saying. I said your daughter's lying. You must know what happens. Only 3 people in the state.
Exactly.
We had to do polygraphs and everything.
You did a polygraph too?
Yeah, because we used to drop the kids off. Over there.
So you and Cindy and...
Made by a neighbor who was testing out a wildlife mic in her yard. What she caught wasn't raccoons. It was a child's voice, Lily's possibly, screaming stop, please stop, followed by a loud, echoing bang. Police dismissed it as nonspecific and never released it to the public. But that neighbor, she played it for others. And no one who heard it could forget it. After the children vanished, the community turned inward. Searches were organized. Flyers posted, helicopters scanned the woods. The dogs were brought in, but they lost the scent at the riverbank behind the trailer, right where an old hunting trail disappears into thicker brush. If someone wanted to carry a child or 2 into the forest and never be seen again, that's where they'd go. Locals know it. Hunters know it. Daniel grew up here. He knew it too, and still no shoes, no clothes, no backpack, not even Jack's dinosaur plush, the one he clutched like a lifeline every night. Nothing. Daniel gave just one public interview. He sat stiff, eyes twitching, voice cracking. He said they were the light of his life, but he never once said their names. When asked directly, "Did you hurt them?" he laughed. Said, "Of course not." But no one, watching, laughed with him. The top comment on that video. He didn't say no. He just deflected. Cindy, meanwhile, vanished. Not literally, but emotionally. She hasn't spoken to the media since late June. She deleted her Facebook. Her last post, now archived by internet sleuths, said, "No one knows what we're going through. Please stop judging." Since then, silence. Some say she's afraid. Others say she's guilty. A few believe she made a deal. But here's what we do know. The system had red flags. It had warnings. It had time. But no one acted fast enough. Not CPS. Not law enforcement. Not the family members who now say they had a bad feeling about Daniel. If they had acted when the bruises showed up, maybe we wouldn't be telling this story today. So no, this isn't just about a missing persons case. This is about two children failed by the adults around them. It's about a family hiding behind silence. About a town with rumors too consistent to ignore. And about secrets buried deep in a forest that no longer feels safe. Lilly and Jack Sullivan didn't just disappear. They were erased. Quietly, efficiently, and maybe intentionally. This is Daniel Martell, the stepfather, the only adult male in the house the night Lilly and Jack disappeared. He hadn't been in their lives long, just over a year, but in that time, everything changed. Quiet rural life turned into something darker. At first, he was just Cindy's new boyfriend, someone she met online after a rough divorce. He moved into the trailer midwinter, when no one was paying much attention. But soon enough, the neighbors started to notice. Late-night yelling, doors slamming, lights flickering on and off at 3 a.m., the sound of children crying. At first, people thought it was just a family adjusting. But then came the bruises. Caitlin, Cindy's older daughter from a previous relationship, had a black eye once. She said she fell. Another time, she missed school for a week. No explanation. Jack was seen limping on the playground. When a teacher asked what happened, he froze. Said nothing. There were whispers. He's too strict. He doesn't talk to the kids. He barks at them. They flinch when he walks into the room. Still, nothing was done. Not officially. But behind closed doors, stories grew louder. One neighbor told police after the kids vanished. He beat them. He locked them in a room. I heard it. All of us did. RCMP confirmed that Daniel was already known to police, not just in Nova Scotia. Elsewhere, too, a string of domestic disturbance calls tied to his name. Police reports that never led to charges. A woman in New Brunswick filed protection order against a man with his exact description in 2020. It was dismissed after she failed to show up in court. Back in the trailer, the children's behavior changed. Jack became clingy, refused to let his teacher leave the room. Lilly started biting her nails until they bled. Caitlin, normally outgoing, grew silent. When a social worker visited in May 2023, she filed a report. That file was sealed shortly after. No one, not even the family's attorney, has seen what was inside. Still, Cindy defended him. She posted smiling photos, wrote about second chances, told friends he's been through a lot. But then something changed. After the children vanished, she stopped posting altogether, deleted her Facebook, ignored media calls. And most shockingly, according to law enforcement, she stopped cooperating with investigators just 6 weeks into the case. She hasn't spoken to RCMP since June. What changed? Why go silent? If she was innocent, if Daniel was innocent, why cut off communication? The public wants to know. Was she covering for him or afraid of him? Some believe Cindy is just another victim, trapped in a toxic relationship, manipulated, broken. Others believe she knew what Daniel was capable of and chose to look the other way. Some go further, saying she may have helped him cover something up, something awful, something that explains why 2 children vanished without a trace. No clothes, no toys, not even a footprint. And then there's a timeline. Daniel claims the kids were last seen around 7:45 p.m. on May 18th, watching TV. He says they went to bed, and when he checked on them around midnight, they were gone. No forced entry. No signs of struggle. But neighbors say something else. One woman, said she saw Daniel's truck leaving the property around 11:20 p.m. Another claimed she heard a child scream around the same time, but dismissed it as a nightmare or a raccoon. The hunting trail behind the trailer was searched. So was the abandoned well deeper in the woods. Cadaver dogs picked up a scent, then lost it near the riverbank, the same area where police found cigarette butts and a discarded glove. No DNA matches yet, but something happened out there. This isn't just about a bad man with a temper. It's about patterns, missed warnings, a system that failed to connect the dots in time. Because people reported, teachers raised flags, neighbors called, but nothing changed, and now 2 children are gone. So we look again at Daniel Martell, the stepfather, the last adult to see them alive, a man with a past, a man whose name sends a chill through a community that once trusted him. And we ask the question no one wants to say out loud, but everyone's thinking, did Daniel snap? Did Cindy help cover it up? Or are they both hiding a truth that could finally bring Lilly and Jack home? In the quiet days that followed Lilly and Jack Sullivan's disappearance, an eerie silence took over. Not just in the woods surrounding their trailer, but in the public narrative. The RCMP had initially launched a full-scale operation. 9 units, helicopters, mounted patrols, thermal drones. The first 48 hours were a flurry of motion. There were maps, press conferences, emotional pleas. Volunteers arrived with flashlights and walking sticks. Hopes were high. This was Canada. This was Nova Scotia. Children don't just disappear here. But by day 4, things began to shift. Quietly, subtly, the daily press briefings were cut short. One was canceled altogether. The helicopter that had circled the perimeter from dawn until dusk disappeared from the sky. Roads that had been blocked off were suddenly reopened, even though no updates had been given to the public. And then nothing. No arrests, no suspects, no trace of Lilly or Jack.